Hi everyone, welcome back. I think I told you last week that Matt would be back with me, but unfortunately he is gone today. He is helping at the kids' school. They're working on some projects over the summer, and I just want to show you what's going on, what's growing. So I'm going to take you to a couple places that we haven't been in a while. This is our apple tree in our front yard, and this one was here when we moved in, and it hasn't had the greatest pruning done to it. So with that being said, it's doing pretty well. You can see we've got some little apples on here already. Of course, we always want more, but usually if we're lucky we get a couple dozen apples off this tree, and every year usually gets better and better unless we have some issues. But as you can see, the apples are looking great. Along with the apples, the wild blackberries are coming in, and they are doing really well. I know they're not something that we grow, but it's certainly a food source for us, something that the kids enjoy picking and eating. If you watch Matt's bee videos, or even if you don't on Wednesday, he will share with you how he ended up with so many hives over here. We've got our honey production area, as well as all those pumpkins, watermelons, and cantaloupe that we planted over here, and they seem to be doing well. They are a little bit yellow because I'm not the best at watering over here. It takes a lot of extra effort to get water over here. This is on the other side of our creek, so almost just on the road. And there's a butterfly. All things considered, the pumpkins and the melons are doing well. Some of them do have some animal damage where something's been chewing them up. In fact, there's one plant here that's pretty much down to the nubs. We had two in this spot. But considering we have no fence or anything over here, I'm expecting some loss, and if nothing else, it's just kind of fun to get things in and plant them. So what we did over here to plant, just kind of to utilize this space a little more, is Matt mowed everything down really short, and then we put some pieces of cardboard down, some not just dirt but compost, and then we planted the plants right in it. And then he's just been kind of weed whipping around the plants, the hills, so that they continue to not get overtaken with weeds. Our pear trees over here are still alive. This was the one we thought we lost. It's got a little bit of green on here. It also needs some water. The tree is doing really well. That one we planted last year, and it had, I think it had a pear on it when we planted it. So it seems to be doing really well, but we didn't get any blossoms this year. Matt and I have been working over the years trying to utilize more and more of our space and learning ways to just kind of utilize space we wouldn't otherwise use. We have a 2-acre plot of land, but most of it we have always felt is very unusable, and that's because we have this great big ravine through our property and a creek down there. But really there is just so much space, so much wild, and so much space we can use for planting if we just kind of think outside the box. So the heat has almost been unbearable lately, but this wind is just, it helps so much. It's been so windy. It's definitely helping all of our plants harden off. I don't know if you can see the cornfield over there. The wind is just whipping through. So off of our deck, we do have a few things growing. And this is just really convenient because it's right outside our kitchen. So that way we can come out and pick some really easy things. So I try to put things out here that are just really nice to be able to grab all the time. So I have our cilantro out here, and I am using this at least, it is so windy, I am using this at least every day. Usually for lunch I'll have a salad, so I'll put cilantro in there. It just kind of adds that extra burst of flavor. I've got dill growing out here, and this is just because I would like to have some dill weed, but I do plant dill in a couple places because I like to have dill for pickles as well. I like to get the big heads of seed. So I've got that planted so that I can do either from it, but it's nice to be able to have some fresh dill weed too. And I also have my basil. That one hasn't been doing the greatest. The dirt is definitely dry constantly. So the kids usually help me kind of keep these things watered. The cilantro and dill have been doing good, but the basil that gets the most sun has been having a little bit of a hard time. But seems to be doing all right. I just haven't picked from it yet. I also have a flower up here on my deck. If you have been watching for a while, last year, right around Mother's Day, my grandma had passed away, and we bought her a hanging plant of flowers. It was right around the same time, and I just always did that for her for Mother's Day, and I brought it to her, and that hanging basket of flowers, it lasted into the fall. It just lasted so much longer than anything else I've ever had around here. Granted, this is kind of protected from the sun. So Matt picked up the same variety, another hanging pot for me. So that's kind of nice. Got the air conditioner going, and I don't know if I can wait out the air conditioner because it has just been going this summer. But outside the greenhouse, we've got all our onions doing amazingly well, chives, leeks doing amazingly well. I moved out some of our herbs with flowers so our pollinators can get to them a little easier, and some that just weren't looking so hot with the heat of the greenhouse. I need to get that thermometer back in here. Our herbs are doing outrageously well. Here's our fennel. It is taller than I am. So I am going to keep probably the fennel inside because I think this would just fall over in the wind and such. I might even kind of tie it up a little so it can grow up rather than toppling over. Our carrots in here are huge. They have gotten humongous. So much going on in here. Sage doing amazingly well. Oregano's doing really well. The thyme and the cumin have gone to flower, so I do want to get cumin seeds, so that's fine. But the thyme, I think I kind of missed that to get some fresh stuff. Maybe I can still pick off there a little bit. I really haven't picked off there at all yet. Our parsley is doing so well. Got a weed in there. Doing so well. I did put that in some egg salad the other day. This lemon balm, this is the first time I've planted it. It just has gotten so lush out of nowhere. Our mint is doing really well. Got some weeds in here too. But I'm not really sure what to do with this lemon balm. So if you have any great ideas, will you leave a comment down below? Because that is a new one to me. Our radishes, turnips, kale are doing all right. Wish we definitely had gotten them in sooner, because I think they would have produced by now otherwise. Our greens that are in here, they're really picked over. Mustard I've been using a lot in eggs, both the red and then the regular mustard. Our arugula I've been using in eggs, and I'm just trying to break off all the flowers as they're going to seed. Our spinach back there is almost all gone. As you can see, it's just towering. It for the most part goes above the rack and is turning into seed, which is fine. I do need some spinach seed, so I am going to let some of that go, but I don't need that much. Those tomatoes we got from my gardener that we planted in here are doing well, but you can't really see them because they are hidden among the carrots. So here's one of those tomato plants, almost to the point where I can clip it up, but not quite. So I don't know if you can see this, but the peony that my mom gave me a cutting from last year and we just planted out here, it had its first flower this week. And I didn't even get a picture of it, but it was so exciting because last year it got all the way to the point where it was about to open and then it never opened. And it has a second one. It's not, I mean, the flowers get way more beautiful than this, but we do need to fill this area in with some more wood chips, and that would help weed it, you know, keep it watered. Man, you see that? On my shoe, I just stepped on it. Ah, it's dead now. Oh, goodness. I always tell the kids that they gotta wear their shoes outside when the honeybees are flying around because they might step on one. I put sandals on thinking I'd be fine, and then I step on that thing. Oh my goodness, hurts awful. Alright, anyway, back to everything going on in the garden. Everything is doing really well. Potatoes are doing well. Eli picked 2 strawberries the last 2 days. I don't think we have any red ones today that I see, but we picked our first 2 strawberries. So that was our official first harvest from the garden, along with some garlic scapes. I knew I'd have some ready today, so I waited. We have garlic scapes. How exciting. So our first garlic scapes are coming off of our German extra hardy plants. A few of the other ones are starting to get scapes, and they're very straight, so I wait till they're kind of curved and then I pick them, and maybe I can show you in a vlog one of our favorite things to do with them. As far as everything else, everything is doing really well in the garden. We're trying to keep everything really watered, considering we haven't got our water system set up yet, but it's doing great. We even, I see just today, have our first cucumber flowers. I did notice down in the back of our garden something is eating the leaves of our beans. So I do need to figure that out because I've been looking at them and I can't find any eggs or critters or anything on them. So I'm just trying to check different times of the day, see if I can figure out what it is. I don't know if it's just ants or what exactly. Our celery is doing well. It looks really, really good, but it is only about maybe 2 or 3 inches tall. And I noticed that other people who are growing celery have like foot tall celery already. I'm sure that's because they're buying well-established plants, but it's just making me nervous that like, oh, we won't have celery because it's so hard to get it going. But whatever we get will be great. Maybe I'll even try to keep some in the ground. Just never know. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this tour of what we've got growing. And if you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Glad you got to see me again. Bye.